Here we go on a Wednesday, live in Los Angeles. It's The Herd. Wherever you may be and however you may be listening, we're on iHeartRadio, Fox Sports Radio, and FS1. Nick Wright before the end of the hour. Joy Taylor is joining me. We get ready for the Masters. We get ready for the NBA playoffs. NFL free agency has mostly wrapped, but not completely. Enjoy. Lakers done. Season's over.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I feel bad for Lakers fans. It's been quite the season.
I will say this. They still fill the place. A lot of basketball fans in L.A.
Yeah, I mean, people obviously nationally wonder why we talk so much about the Lakers and why we talk so much about the Cowboys and why we talk so much about Brady's. Like, these are international brands.
Yeah.
Whatever you may think, wherever you are.
Yeah, so congratulations to the Phoenix Suns for beating the Lakers, although this year it's not much of an accomplishment. So the Lakers are going to fire Frank Vogel. That's the word. They're going to try to hire Quinn Snyder. I don't think that's the problem. And I think we all know what I'm about to say. We all know this is true. The only way to solve a problem, a family problem, a business problem, a basketball problem, only way to solve it is to first identify what the problem is. So Anthony Davis says, it was a disappointing season, but I know what the solution is. Here's a star player for the Lakers.
This year we had more starting lineup than we had wins. Our goal was to win the championship. So we had the pieces, but injuries got in the way of that. And that was a difference in our season. I think even though we lost games where all of us was on the floor, me, Bron, Russ, I think we were three great players, but we would have, figured it out if we lost more minutes together.
Oh, that's adorable. That's the problem. Just Russell Westbrook, me, and LeBron have to play more together. We would have figured it out. Westbrook hasn't figured out how to shoot in 15 years. He's a guard. That's like saying I can't sell my house. It must be the paint. Oh, boy. Injuries happen all over this league. They didn't derail the Clippers. They're going to be in the playoffs. Didn't derail the Nuggets. They'll be in. Didn't derail the Warriors. Didn't derail Memphis. God, they lost Ja Morant. Didn't derail Utah. In the East, the Bulls, major injuries. Lonzo Ball's out. Alex Caruso was out. They're going to make the playoffs. It didn't derail the Nets. They're in a play-in game. Their guys wouldn't even get vaxxed. They couldn't play home games. They're going to do it. Everybody got hurt. Everybody had major injuries to stars. And they're all either in the playoffs or in the play-in game. AD's solution, not to pick on AD, is just more of what we did. That'll be great. Yeah, you guys played together 21 games. You were 11-10. You were average together. You're getting older. LeBron's in his 20th year, and Westbrook is shot. The answer is not more of that. You got to give me a break here. The story this morning is, hey, we didn't make the playoffs. No, it's worse than that. The Lakers, in the second half of the season, had a worse record than tanking Portland. Portland won 11 games after the All-Star break. Lakers 10. The Lakers are 17 games under 500. The Lakers are closer to last place in the NBA than the 7th spot in the West. Folks, no tweaking is going to fix this. There's no tweak on the market. The answer is not more of this. Okay, the answer is not fire Frank Vogel and give Quinn Snyder the job. Is Quinn Snyder rolling through the West? No, why? Because he didn't have enough athletic wings. He's got an all-star guard and an all-star center. And he wins a playoff series every year. Maybe 2. That's what you can do with that roster. The answer is not firing Frank Vogel, and the answer is certainly not more of what we've seen. The answer is blow this puppy up. The solution isn't more of what we've been watching this year. Westbrook shot. LeBron will be in his 20th year. They're both super expensive. AD's super expensive. And in the last decade, twice he's played over 70 games. And you want more of that. The agents, the stars, they can't even identify what the problem is. And I don't have any great solution today because the NBA is paralyzed by, quote, competitive balance. So it's not a league of hope. If you're bad and have bad contracts, you're bad for years and years and years. That's why the NFL continues to separate from the NBA. You can go from irrelevant to fantastic in about 2 drafts and 2 free agency periods. I mean, Jacksonville's been a tire fire for years. They just went and spent $200 million on free agents, got a new coach, have a promising quarterback. I kind of want to watch them play. It doesn't work that way in the NBA. But the answer is not more of this. They played 21 games together. They're all really expensive. They won 11. They're worse in the second half than Portland. And Portland's, competing, but tanking. Oh, boy. Bill Orm from The Athletic was on earlier this week. And the Lakers, because they are such a gigantic brand in a glamour sport, can usually, faster than other franchises, pivot. The question now, as Bill asks, can they?
I think LeBron and AD are going to be the centerpiece of this, at least for another year. The Russell Westbrook component is much more interesting. I do blame Russ, the contract, and the decision to trade for Russ for basically everything that's happened and all the pieces that, basically had to fit around him. One thing we know about the Lakers is that their value system is give us cap space and we will bring in a superstar. And that worked for them once in 2018 when LeBron James decided to come to the Lakers. But you saw it year and year again at the end of Kobe Bryant's career. Stars didn't want to do that. And it will be very interesting to see if at the end of LeBron's career, if the Lakers do preserve that cap space, if stars are going to want to come play with LeBron at 39, 40, 41 years old.
And that's an intriguing question. LeBron in his prime, absolutely. Ray Allen, Shane Battier, Chris Bosh, Kevin Love would give up big chunks of their identity to play with LeBron. In year 20, I think LeBron's more interested in elevating Bronny than teammates. I think LeBron has his money, has his rings, has his legacy. I think it's about family now. It's about family and business. He doesn't seem that deeply bothered by losing. I mean, he wants to win. We know that. And for the record, I think all athletes, when they hit the mogul stage, Brady's the exception, winning's part of it. It's not everything. But I don't think in year 20 and 21 of LeBron, young stars are going to want to hand over some of their game for LeBron, who only plays really one way, with the ball in his hands. I do not see a way out unless you blow it up. All right, the Masters, Tiger Woods looks like he will play. Tiger Woods, for at least a 10-year period, is the greatest golfer the planet's ever had. Jack Nicklaus, a more storied career in terms of majors. But there's athletes that are great, and then there's athletes that are great and influential. Steph Curry's one of those. Steph's obviously great, but he literally changed high school, AAU, college, and pro basketball. It's a three-point game, mostly because this little kid from Davidson started shooting 32-footers and hitting them, and it became a math equation. Tiger Woods, when I watch the Masters this weekend, U.S. Open's my favorite tournament, Masters second, maybe Ryder Cup or the British Open third. You will see Tiger's fingerprints all over these golfers. Rory McIlroy, Brooks Koepka, Bryson DeChambeau, Dustin Johnson. I like Dustin to win at 15-1. Big guys, long off the tee, athletic, alpha. That is Tiger's influence. For 12 years in America during his prime, all of us, especially golf addicts, gathered around the television and watched an athlete beat non-athletes. Let's be honest. For almost my entire life, golfers had bad slacks, bellies, and undefined bodies. Look around the tour now. Koepka looks like a linebacker. Bryson DeChambeau's a fullback. John Rahm, 6'2", 215. Long off the tee, athletic, chefs, nutritionists, ripped, jacked. All the things they told you not to do. Don't swing out of your shoes. Guys are now going to the practice tee and swinging 130 miles an hour, trying to get that club speed. Scotty Scheffler, these are big guys. They look like athletes. And that ultimately is very rare. I always said Michael Jordan actually had a negative influence. It used to be like guards could score, but they were distributors. But Stephon Marbury grew up, and Iverson, all these guys grew up sort of watching Michael Jordan. They're like, I'm a scorer. I contend the Westbrooks and the John Walls and these scoring guards, they were influenced by Michael Jordan. Forget the big guy. Forget the wings. Forget the shooters. I want the ball. I want to score. And the great distribution point guard, who are they? It's an old guy, Chris Paul. Sometimes you have great influence. I like the new golf. A little more alpha, a little more athletic, long off the tee. That's Tiger's influence beyond dominating the sport and having the second most storied career of all time. It's been bumpy, a little bit of a roller coaster, good, really bad, never indifferent to any of it. I'll take Dustin Johnson this weekend. Tiger now is a bit of a victim to himself. Strength and power has a foothold in golf. Can't wait to watch. Nick Wright later this hour. Bobby Wagner's officially a Ram. Baker Mayfield can't find a gig. And I'll tell you something. There's a city in the Northeast that is often ignored. That is another example of they are now the best run football operation on the East Coast. And we have ignored them. The media has ignored them for most of my life. That's coming up. Hustler Turf is the brand lawn care professionals have been leaning on.